Any Given Parlay.
They got to stick to basketball. Just if you're good at something, just stick with it. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's good for them. For being in the top 25 for that football program is kind of the best they can hope for. That to play in effect.
Any given parlay.
All right. Welcome to the Any Given Parlay podcast. I am David, your host, here with Mike and Zach, my co-hosts. Gentlemen, great to see you. Zach, how you doing?
Great week of sports. How about you?
Oh, fantastic. It's October, best month of the year. Every single day in the month of October, there is a game on, which is absolutely amazing. Mike, how you doing?
It's the best time of year. You know, we have hockey on, we have NBA coming up, football. You can't ask for more.
Postseason baseball, unbelievable week. We are going to recap this week in sports. We will talk about notable moments and our favorite stat from this past week. Then we will get into the wide world of sports and looking forward to what we have coming. And of course, we will end with some hot takes. So, gentlemen, let's get into it. What were the big wins, big losses, parlays? Mike, you were a busy man this week.
Lightning did not strike twice, right? Little bit of an average weekend, I would say, picking college and football and NFL games. For me, I think the really big match that everyone was kind of hyped up was for the Red River rivalry. We got Oklahoma at Texas. Oklahoma pulled it out. A little bit of an upset, I would say, on the road, 34-30. Really on the back of quarterback Quinn Ewers' 346-yard passing game. He had 2 touchdowns, two interceptions. But really, I think otherwise, outside of that, I was really proud of the Terps. They did a great job. They hung in there with Ohio State. It was 17-20 after the third quarter. Dropped another 17 points going in that fourth, which was a little rough. But I'm wearing my Bama today. The boys pulled it off. Little tough road game over in Texas. Jalen Milroe is really, I think, coming into his own now. He had 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But really the huge play from Jermaine Burton, 9 receptions for 197 yards with 2 touchdowns. Excellent performance. I think he's giving Marvin Harris Jr. a run for his money with that first overall wide receiver pick coming up in the NFL draft.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Texas game was a little shocking. I think I picked them -4 going into the weekend. I still like them. They had an unbelievable game against Alabama early in the season, and I thought they looked really, really great, and they did not against Oklahoma at home, mind you, losing at home. But Zach, big wins, big losses.
So I stayed away from that Texas-Oklahoma game. I was a little nervous about Oklahoma coming into it, so stayed away from it altogether. The big loss was Notre Dame. I had Notre Dame -6.5. They straight up lost it by 13. So that was the loss. The wins were Alabama -2.5, that one, and North Carolina -8, which I was telling you guys about. That was a big win for North Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. I still don't understand that line on Alabama going into last week. I think that was the best value in college football. But let's talk about some more college football as we continue. We have some rankings. We talked about Oklahoma, huge jump in the AP top 25. Any other surprises that you all saw from college football this weekend?
Well, I noticed a lot of, in our top rankings when we're looking at the college football playoffs, Mike and I still have Oregon in the top 6. A lot of people are putting in Washington now. I just don't see it. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out who deserves to be there. So that's gonna be very interesting coming up.
I think Washington, so number one in total offensive yards, 569.4 yards per game. 446.4 of those are coming from the pass. So, I mean, huge offensive season that Washington's having this season. Mike, any thoughts on the top
Yeah,
six?
you know, I've been really high on USC, and really tough game they had this past weekend. I kept live betting it. Bad idea. I think I got in at the minus 21. Then I went minus 7.5, minus 3.5. I went to bed, and they won by 2. You know, I had them in my top 6 going into this week. You know, they're now down to 10th. I'm willing to concede that's probably where they should be at this point. But I think for me, what's really surprising is, you know, that Michigan got 11 number 1 votes. And that was one of my hot takes last week. And, you know, I just think if you heard the comments from the Minnesota coach after the game, that this was the best team he's ever coached against. It was really incredible. I mean, their defense had 2 interceptions for touchdowns. They covered that 19-point spread with ease. And then my last thing was just the disappointment for Notre Dame. You know, they have 2 losses now. They're essentially completely out of the playoff contention. Louisville's a lot stronger than, you know, we all thought they were. But for me, those were the big surprises. But I'm also excited to see this Oregon-Washington matchup. I think it's one team's gonna stay in it, and the other one's gonna drop out.
And how about that big botch by Miami?
Ooh,
All they have to do is kneel the ball, run out the clock. They do a running play, fumble the ball. Georgia Tech comes back 2 plays later with a touchdown to win the game.
And the ACC came out this week, either in the past day or two, and said that with everything given, it was still the right call that was made on the field. Unbelievably bad.
Talking about the
clock
fumble.
management. Yeah. Talking about the fumble. Was it actually a fumble? It was 33 seconds left with a 3-point lead. And you decide to run it on 3rd down instead of just kneeling for the win. Unbelievable. You know, you can watch the post-match press conference and see just that decision making. I still can't wrap my head around that one. That was unbelievable. Well, let's move into the NFL. Big week, some tough losses. My hot take of Jordan Love throwing 3 touchdowns and Packers winning by 10 did not come to fruition, but I blame everybody but the Packers. No, I solely blame the Packers. Listen, it's his first year. Aaron Rodgers went 4-12 his first year, leading the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love will be just fine. You know, future Hall of Famer, right? 3 in a row. Favre, Rodgers, Love. You know, we'll see. And I will go to the grave defending that man until he inevitably goes and plays for the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had a better stat line than Dax Prescott, and that's the good news, right?
Yeah.
Because the expectations aren't the same.
No.
But, you know, for me, my weekend started off poorly with that Thursday night matchup. We had Bears, Commanders. I think we gave out the Commanders pretty heavily. I picked up Sam Howell on my fantasy team, which still worked out. Mac Jones did horrendous, so I was glad I made that pick. But, you know, Justin Fields, 4 touchdowns. Incredible. DJ Moore,
Ridiculous.
230 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Commanders just looked terrible for a handful of quarters. They had a little bit of magic going into the 4th, and then when they lost, they had some magic saying some bad things about them, right? And I'm talking about the minority owner. My heartbreak really came with that Ravens-Steeler matchup. It was a pretty easy card on Sunday, I thought. You know, you had the Dolphins in there, which you knew they were going to win. Lions looked nice and easy, and then you had the Cowboys. But, you know, I tossed the Ravens in there going into Pittsburgh, expecting a win. And quite frankly, they dropped it. And not just the team, they dropped 5 or 7 passes, I think. I mean, Rashad Bateman dropped a touchdown, which was not great. Lamar continues to fumble the ball, threw an interception late. Just really, really, really terrible of a game. And I even think there were some coaching mishaps similar to that Miami game where Harbaugh should have went for a field goal a couple times, and that would have changed maybe the outcome of the game.
I also saw that the Ravens occasionally will use rugby balls during practice to get the receivers in the mindset of catching with both hands. But if you've seen a rugby ball, I mean, they're much larger, right? So you can catch them apart, and I think that, I don't know if that played into it, but yeah, the number of dropped passes, Lamar Jackson's stats don't tell the tale of that game. The number of dropped passes in that game by elite wide receivers was unbelievable.
I was bragging that Lamar was 7-2 against a division rival last week against the Bengals. At this point, he's 1-3 versus the Steelers in his career. He's got his stat lines 4 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. So he's clearly struggles against the Steelers.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
Not an elite Steelers few years well.
A bad Steelers team. I love a good Ravens loss because of their fans. They deserve it. The fans deserve it.
I don't know where this is coming from.
I love a good Lamar interception or fumble, so I can rub it in Mike's face.
Okay. I stayed really quiet with your Jordan.
Yeah,
Love
you really
praise.
did, and that was your mistake.
Okay.
But so let me get there. I do feel bad for the guy. I think he's having a better season. He finally got what he wanted. He got paid. He got the receivers, and everything he fought for is just letting him down. He's not letting the team down. I think the team has been letting him down. They're 3-2, second in the division, and one loss away from being third. Let's be real. Ravens.
And listen, traveling to the UK this week, it's not a guarantee win. If they were playing the Titans in Tennessee or in Baltimore, I'd feel really confident about it. But just like I said last week, also that the England games are they're a toss up. You can't predict that travel. I mean, the Jaguars went in there, they beat the Bills. I think someone else picked against that, right, David?
Yep.
But I'm not confident to pick the Ravens this week.
Yeah, I mean, how can you be? I think when we look at all of the, all of the misgivings that they've had, it's just it might be a tough season. Might be a tough season for Ravens fan, and I think they have the second hardest strength of schedule remaining.
Yeah, the next couple. I think we talked about the other day. The next couple of games are brutal. They have a ton of road games coming up. They still have to play some of these division teams again. I mean, if you just look at the next couple, so they got Lions coming to Baltimore, and the Lions are lights out right now, right?
Ugh.
Damn Jared Goff.
Yeah.
They get a little bit of reprieve. Then they go on the road and they play the Cardinals. Then they got the Seahawks at home. Then you got Browns and Bengals again, and they're just never easy games.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on NFL from this past weekend?
I mean, I'd love to hear Zach's take on the Giants Dolphins, and I think should probably bring up the Cowboys a little bit.
Yeah, so Giants Dolphins, that was a rough game. Personally, I had Miami minus 11, which worked out in that case. But yeah, Giants are not a good team. A lot of these other bad teams are still putting up points and getting wins. Bears, Commanders, other bad teams are putting up points and getting wins. Yeah, the Giants did that against Arizona, but it was against Arizona. So at this point, I think the Giants are in the running for a top pick. If Fields lights on fire, the Giants could be in the Caleb Williams discussion, or May, but they are not they just, their offensive line is just giving up too much pressure. Daniel Jones can't do anything about it. Tyrod Taylor, they both got injured. Their offensive line is just completely collapsing, and it's not going to get better when they're giving up that much pressure.
Hampton Roads, great. Tyrod Taylor, I believe, is what you meant to say.
Yeah. But yeah. So Miami minus 11. That was a pick that was successful. My two L's: Buffalo minus 5.5. Buffalo lost. Baltimore minus 3.5. Baltimore lost. But in addition to the Miami pick, my picks, Detroit money line, that was good. Kansas City money line, San Francisco money line. Those were kind of two cake picks, but those were good. And then the anytime touchdown for Christian McCaffrey,
hits again,
14 weeks in a row and running. And Vegas is not stacking the odds against that. I think it was minus 170, minus 175 in spots. Still a good play. I don't know why that's not minus 300, but hey, free money's out there.
Yeah, it's great value there. Before we move on to postseason baseball, I think we talked a little bit about this last week, but what happens first? The Eagles or 49ers lose a game, or the Panthers win a game?
Whew. Well, the Panthers play the Dolphins next week, so that's not happening next week.
Yeah. So Eagles upcoming schedule. They've got Jets. They've got Dolphins after that. Commanders again. Cowboys. Then Chiefs. So I mean, they may not lose until the Chiefs is coming off a bye week. So they may be 9-0 going into that. The 49ers upcoming. They've got the Browns. Vikings will be a difficult test for them, although the Vikings are 1-4. I think they are outperforming what their record is. Then they play the Bengals, Jags, Bucks, and that gets us halfway through November.
I don't see anybody beating the 49ers if they keep playing like they're playing. The Eagles, I think, have been playing it way too close. I think the Eagles lose at the Dolphins or Chiefs or both. I think they've been playing it way too close. So I don't know. I think they lose at the Dolphins. The Panthers could get a sneaky win. They could beat the Texans in 2 weeks. Yeah, I think the Eagles lose before the Panthers. I think the Eagles lose first. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Zach. I don't see the 49ers losing for quite some time. If you look at the schedule coming up, the Eagles have a harder road with the Dolphins and the Chiefs coming up. Looking at the Panthers schedule, I mean, they're Houston, no. Colts, no. I mean, really, the Bears, maybe. I guess that November game. Otherwise, I'm not sure. They might not win a game.
The Colts without Richardson.
Listen, the Colts beat the Ravens, so I obviously think that they're better.
Yeah.
With Richardson.
World class Colts team, of course.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Eagles lose first.
Speaking of which, some tough injuries this week.
Oof. Yeah, a lot.
Biggest one, Justin Jefferson, who's already on IR, which means he's out for at least 4 weeks. Probably a few people had him number one on as their fantasy picks. So big loss there.
Yeah. Hopefully he gets back. It's always better football when he's playing. Although I think I do play against whoever had him in fantasy this week. So appreciate you, Justin. Get well soon. It's fine. Awesome. Well, it is October. We are heavy into postseason baseball. We had a couple pod listeners send in some videos from baseball over the weekend, but let's talk about it. The O's are out of postseason baseball, got swept. Zach, what's your take on baseball so far?
The O's were just, as we mentioned, they're a really young team. So even though they're a very solid team, they got a lot of talent. Just the experience wasn't there. They got swept by a more experienced Texas team that made a lot of good moves leading up to the playoffs. Baltimore just kind of, as they usually do, just ride on what they have. Didn't make too many moves besides Jack Flaherty. So I think they didn't do enough to prepare themselves for the postseason, and they were just too young of a team. So I think to build on what they have this season, they need to make some pitching moves for next year. But they're out of it.
They are.
And as we speak, also the Astros just closed out the Twins.
Wow.
So the Twins are now out of it too.
All right, the Asterisks winning, advancing in. I think the Orioles had an unbelievable season, 101 wins. I think they're incredibly deep, and I think they can make a lot of moves in this offseason that put them in an even better position entering next year. Their farm team, the Norfolk Tides, are lights out, right? They're stocked. They have a ton of talent down there in Norfolk, Virginia. And I think that the Orioles, if they get ruthless, right, they're going to have a lot of capital to trade this offseason, and I think they do very, very well next season. But yeah, their batting and their defense let them down in the postseason, and I think we kind of saw it entering into August a little bit, but then they picked back up and to get to 100 wins. But yeah, exciting things happening in Baltimore.
I agree the Orioles definitely choked, but we got to put a little bit of it on the fact that the Rangers did such a great job. I mean, they were averaging almost 7 runs throughout the series.
Batting 282 in the postseason.
Yeah, so it was a little bit of a mix of both. I think there was inexperience there, but that Rangers team was built to win. They spent a lot of money building that team this year, and it really showed. I mean, they have not lost a single postseason game this year.
Couple postseason stats. I know the Rangers have played a few more games, but 51 hits for the Rangers, 29 RBIs for the Rangers, 7 home runs for the Rangers. They're just playing lights out.
Yeah, and it looks like it just updated, like you said, Zach. So we got Houston and the Texas Rangers in that next round. Looks like the Dodgers are going to get swept also. They're trailing right now 4-0. I stayed away. It was hard. It was really hard because you're thinking there's no way they have this happen again. I mean, I think Clayton Kershaw lasted 1 out, gave up 6 runs in the first game. Then they almost had a repeat of that that same thing on the next game. But it's just interesting to see these teams just get swept. The Phillies look insane. Bryce Harper had a phenomenal night tonight. Phillies beat the Braves 10-2. Bryce Harper had 2 home runs, I think 4 RBIs. Little controversial on the home run trot. You might see a post about that tomorrow with his celebration. The Braves broadcast did not like it. But yeah, they're sitting them down pretty well also. So for me, I think it's going to end up coming down to the Rangers and probably Philly at this point. I see Arizona advancing, but I don't see them getting past Philly. Philly was destined last year, ran into a tough team and dropped and lost. But I think this year they might have a really, really good shot. The new Nationals, I call them.
I mean, I feel like it's half the team from 2019. I think the Braves can turn it on. They're a very, very good baseball team. They've got a lot of experience postseason, but I don't see them stopping the Phillies, and I don't know anybody stops the Phillies from how they've been looking so far this postseason.
All right, I want to give you a quick news break also. So here are the Vegas odds for the ALCS, Astros and Rangers. Astros are favored for the series at -135. Rangers at +105. So Vegas has got the Astros. I don't like that. I like those odds on the Rangers. I mean, They haven't dropped a single game. I feel the energy on their side, and I think Houston has that experience, though, right, Zach?
Yeah, I mean that's what Vegas is going off of. I mean the Rangers have been putting up so many runs against good teams, but the Astros know how to get to the World Series. So Vegas is putting the odds on the experience, not the hot hand.
Yeah, it's very calculated. I think from a hopes and dreams standpoint, obviously, I hope the Rangers do absolutely just destroy them. 100 loss season 2 years ago to now not dropping a game in the postseason. Unbelievable turnaround by that organization. Hope the Rangers at this point, hope the Rangers take it all.
Well, FanDuel currently has the Astros winning it all at plus 300 with the favorites.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes, very interesting.
All right, gentlemen. We hit the major ones in the U.S. What other sports do we want to talk about? What other games, matches, matchups are we talking about? Zach, I think you had one.
Yeah, we can brush quickly on soccer. Premier League, Arsenal beat Man City, which puts Arsenal at the top of the table with Tottenham. Two teams not known for holding on to the top spot. But I don't know, Man City's had a rough last few games, so I'm not sure. Hot take, Man City, I don't know if they win the Premier League this year. Dave, any comments on that?
Lots of comments on that. I think right now Arsenal and Tottenham are top of the league. Listen, Arsenal was top of the league for a majority of the season last season and did what they do best and absolutely bottled it. Tottenham won't last either. They have never won the Premier League, no major trophies, an odd FA Cup here and there. I just don't think that they have the pedigree to win it this season. I hate Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City. I'm a big Manchester United fan, which has been a very tough decade. It's been 10 years.
So you hate yourself.
Yeah. It's been a rough season for me in every sport that I care about. Manchester United, it's going to be interesting in the Premier League on who fires their manager first, either Chelsea or Manchester United. I think it was this game this past weekend. Chelsea ended up having a resounding win, which I think secured their manager's spot. And then Manchester United came back and won 2 goals, one goal in the 93rd, 94th minute, and then another goal in the 96th, 97th minute to win. And I think saved Ten Hag's job. I think it'll be very, very interesting. Newcastle are an unbelievable team with Miguel Almiron plus a huge influx of oil money. Listen, I'm getting Manchester City vibes circa 2008, 2009 after their takeover by Sheikh Mansour. So I don't know. I think anything could happen. Just not Liverpool or Arsenal. Their fans are the worst. Sorry, Zach.
Yeah, well, it happens. And quick update out of MLS, Inter Miami eliminated from the playoffs. Messi will not go to the playoffs this year. Not a full season.
Not a full season. And he came into the absolute worst team in the league, and they still had a chance on the last day to make it into the playoffs, and it didn't pan out for them. But David Beckham knows what he's doing, and everything he touches in his life turns to gold. That's why they call him.
Have you?
That's why they call him.
You heard about the
golden balls?
Have you heard the big rumors though? The free agents they're trying to bring in. One, Luka Modric. They're trying to bring him in to Inter Miami.
At that point, I mean, it's just unfair. It's like every match would be a charity match. Like
the rumors are heavy though.
You have a bunch of professionals playing against children with spina bifida. It's just unfair at that point.
Since we're talking international sports, I consider you guys kind of like a self-help group at times, so I'm going to confide in you. I went to a dark place today.
Oh,
It
Latvian
was pretty
women's
bad.
table tennis. I knew it.
No, India versus Afghanistan in the Cricket World Cup. I bet on.
You got to bet India, right?
I won.
India.
India for sure. Yes, and I actually know a little bit more about it now. So just to give everyone at home a recap, India, the favorites, beat Afghanistan 273 to 272.
Ooh.
They had 35 overs to 50 overs. If you don't know what that means, that's fine.
No idea.
I learned it this morning. Just bet on India.
And you were sweating out that. You were sweating it out, huh?
No, actually, it was pretty. As soon as I guess you get only one shot at it. The second India got their turn, they went to minus 2,000 odds. So Afghanistan plays England coming up in the World Cup, and England is the favorite. So if you want an easy money line, there you go. Otherwise, keep betting on India.
There you go. One more stat, going back real quick. One more stat from soccer. Olivier Giroud, who is a striker for AC Milan now. If you've ever followed soccer, you know who he is. Unbelievable player. Came in as a goalkeeper this week and made an unbelievable 96th minute save to keep the clean sheet, which means he has more clean sheets than Manchester United goalkeeper Onana. So there you go. A striker who's never played keeper before is better than Manchester United's keeper.
That save was amazing.
It was unbelievable.
It was
unbelievable. Just it's the no fear, the presence and mentality that he has and understanding of the game. He will be a manager and an unbelievable one in the future. Mark my words. All right. Well, let's talk about some notable moments. What impressed you from this past week in sports? Zach, let's start with you.
Yeah, so the first impressive stat I have was the Miami Dolphins had 2,568 yards from scrimmage in their first 5 games of the NFL season. That beats the record set by the 2000 St. Louis Rams, who had 2,527 yards through 5 games. Greatest show on turf. Other notable stat, Devon Achane became the second player in NFL history to score at least 7 touchdowns in his first 4 career games. Him and Bill Pascal of the New York Giants. What do you guys think? Miami Dolphins next greatest show on turf, or just what's hot right now?
They're amazing. I think they're having. I think they are. Yes. If you look at the top 10 fastest speeds, I think all of them, maybe all but one, are players from the Dolphins this season. Clocked in game, running 20, 21, 22 miles per hour. I think they are a force to be reckoned with for at least the next few years.
And 2 quick QB stats that I found interesting. Josh Allen moved into 3rd place of all-time rushing TDs by a quarterback, 41, behind Steve Young at 43 and Cam Newton at 75. So that was pretty interesting. I didn't realize he was that high that quick. And also Brock Purdy has 10-0 in his first 10 started and finished games. That puts him tied for second with Mike Livingston, Mike Tomczak, and behind Ben Roethlisberger at number 1 with 15. Mike's best friend.
What's amazing about that is, how lucky are San Francisco at quarterback? When you think about how they've traded and gone after QBs and burned through some, and then you end up with Brock Purdy, and he is performing at the level he is, and he's still on his rookie contract, right? He's making $800,000 a year. it's unreal what is happening in San Francisco right now, and just the consistency with that.
Yeah. I mean, they were winning with Alex Smith. They were winning with Garoppolo.
I think John Lynch gets some credit, right?
He's got to. Yeah.
I mean, he's brought in a lot of strong players. I think Brock Purdy was a surprise to everyone, but they got the signing for Christian McCaffrey, which is just amazing, right? On defense, Nick Bosa is just
scary.
A bad dude. Bad.
Yeah.
He's just a bad dude. It's also a team that you can't root against. It's really hard to, like they're fun to watch. George Kittle put the beat down on the Cowboys. I mean, they're just a fantastic team.
Yeah, they really are. I can find a way to hate them because they beat the Packers every time. Every time they play us, they just beat us. And
I'm scared for Christmas now.
It's always with the season on the line that the 49ers just absolutely run through Green Bay. But they're amazing to watch. Only downside that they brought in, I think, Trey Lance. I think not a great pick. But
thank you, Jerry Jones.
Yeah. I think San Francisco will be just fine. Mike, favorite stat? What impressed you from this past week?
I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to go back and do 2 weeks.
Okay.
University of Maryland wide receivers in the NFL over the past 2 weeks have been amazing. We have Stefan Diggs, who had 3 TDs against the Dolphins. And then last week, we had DJ Moore with 3 touchdowns against the Commanders. Maryland's always produced top NFL talent, but for whatever reason, haven't been able to put it together in college, right?
Quarterback play.
I have to agree with you, Zach, there, right? I mean, listen, Tualia's doing great this year. We are actually ranked 27th, so we're creeping up a little bit. We have Illinois this week. But you look at Stefan Diggs, look at DJ Moore. These are premier receivers in the NFL, and it's just great. I'm wondering if they can get more involved and support with, NIL deals in College Park or something, but we have too much talent at the NFL level for them not to be more dominant in college football. I'm not saying in the Big Ten. The Big Ten is very, very hard. I'm also complaining in their, 5-0 right now, but still, that Ohio State game, we were all excited. Zach was texting me.
5-1.
Zach, right? You were pretty excited.
Yep. I mean, DC area produces some pretty good high school wide receivers. So keeping a few of them at home sometimes works out.
I mean, imagine if Caleb Williams had, done a hometown deal and stayed.
My gosh, could you imagine?
Kevin Durant.
Yeah. Don't get me started. Kevin Durant's not really from here. It's fake.
All those DeMatha grads.
Dave, what do you got? Do you have any stats that stood out?
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily a stat, but it is a number, and that number is 242,588,236. That is the 5-year contract of a one Russell Wilson. And I would love to know your stats. I think Denver got absolutely hosed. Obviously, hindsight is 2020, but they gave away draft picks. They guaranteed this guy almost $200 million. It's unbelievable how bad he's been. This season is probably his best season so far. In Denver, he's thrown 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I think we were probably in week 10 before he got to double digits in touchdowns last year. But I would love to know from you, gentlemen, is this the worst trade of all time, or at least the last decade?
Do you what exactly did Denver get in that trade? Do you have it?
What did Denver give up?
Yes.
In that trade, I believe they gave up. Hold on, I can find.
Because I would have to say that Deshaun Watson's got to be up there for me. That was 3 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and 2 fourth-round picks for Deshaun Watson,
who didn't play,
and a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
So 3
bad.
first-rounders, a third-rounder, and 2 fourths for Watson, who's above average at best, I guess.
So I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit more challenging for you because those are both two players that had success in the NFL, right? Deshaun Watson has had success. Russell Wilson has had success, right? What about Ricky Williams? Do you remember Ricky Williams?
Yeah.
So 1999 draft. Mike Ditka wanted him so bad. They gave up a first round, a third round, a fourth round, a fifth round, a sixth round, and a seventh round pick to get him. And I think he was in the league for what, 3 years, Zach?
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. I think about the Bears just a few years ago when they traded up in the draft.
Fields or Trubisky?
Trubisky. They gave up an unbelievable amount to move up one spot in the draft to get Mitch Trubisky, and they gave away the rest of that draft. And I don't remember who they got the draft pick from, but they weren't going to pick Trubisky anyways. But I think, yeah, hindsight 2020, Denver at the time, it was a blockbuster move, Galactico move, if you will, for all you Real Madrid fans out there. But they've gotten absolutely rinsed since then. And Russell Wilson, what do? You have all this money tied up to this guy who can't play. He's 34 years old now. What is the Broncos organization do going forward?
Is giving up an option?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, who do you take? I think we'll have a decent quarterback draft this year, but it seems like they gave up already.
There's a lot of bad teams that need quarterbacks, so it's going to be a log jam near the top of that draft, and Denver's going to win a few games, so they're not going to get the cream of the crop.
Yeah, I think it's going to be bad in Denver for the foreseeable future. So there we go. But let's talk about this coming weekend. We've got postseason baseball. We've got college football, NFL. What games are you excited about? Who do you think is going to win? I think when we look at college football, we've got number 9 USC versus number 21 Notre Dame, -2.5. Zach, who do you like in that matchup?
I've still got to go with USC. I know that they're slipping. They give up way too many points. Notre Dame has been a strong team, but Notre Dame just lost to Louisville. And USC, I don't know. I think Caleb Williams throws one touchdown too many for Notre Dame. Hopefully, for him, hopefully in regular time, and he doesn't have to go to the third overtime and run one in and almost wipe out his draft prospects.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I got USC by a hair.
All right, Mike, what do you think?
I'm going to go USC also. I still think Caleb Williams has enough in the tank to kind of push that team over the top. Notre Dame is going to be at home. I'm not sure how excited they are. Like I said, they're out of the playoff contention. 2 losses is going to do that for you. I think all they have going for them is really their defense, right? They're the 12th ranked defense, 35th ranked offense. USC's defense is giving up 400 yards a game. So it might be close. Getting USC at such a small spread is really tempting. I mean, they're underdogs right now. So I would tease it up. You're probably getting adjusted for a touchdown, maybe 2 scores. I would hammer that. That would be my big one this week, would be to take the adjusted, take the points, and have fun with USC.
All right, Mike's liking USC +3.5. Not bad. We're all in agreement here. USC, look unbelievable, and I don't see them losing to Notre Dame. I like USC -2.5, and my thought. Let's talk about Missouri and Kentucky. Number 25 taking on number 23. Kentucky minus 2.5 point favorites at home. Who do you like?
I've been high on this Kentucky team all year. Missouri is a good squad. That LSU match last week was nuts. I think if I look back to my notes, I mean, LSU outscored Missouri 22-7 in the fourth. So they had a complete breakdown, and they let LSU have two rushers over 130 yards each, and they both had a touchdown. I think Kentucky is going to have fun. They're at home. This is the best Kentucky team I've seen in a while. Minus 2.5 is basically an even game. I would take money line on Kentucky.
Split decision for me. So when we put that graphic up, slash it in half. I don't know. I like the over in this game. I think it is a high-scoring game. If I'm forced to pick, Kentucky at home does take the home field advantage. Kentucky money line. I don't know that I like the spread, but it's a coin toss for me. If I can pick the over, I'm picking that. If I'm forced to pick a money line, it's got to be Kentucky. Biggest game.
I also got to go with Kentucky as well. As you said, money line. It's going to be a very high scoring game. It's just Mizzou looked strong against LSU to start the game, but just complete folding. I don't think they'll be able to do it again. So I've also got Kentucky, but couldn't trust a point to either team. So I would also go money line.
Yeah, did that game against LSU wipe them out? We'll find out this weekend. Biggest game of the weekend, though, in my humble opinion, we've got number 8 Oregon versus number 6 Washington. You've got two teams that are fighting for that playoff spot. Zach, who do you like?
I'm still going to go against the AP and go with Oregon. I think there's a little too much hype behind Washington. Could come back to bite me. There's a reason everybody's been picking Washington higher, but I still got to pick Oregon. I like what I've seen out of them.
All right, Mike.
I mean, we have the number 1 offense with Washington versus the number 2 offense with Oregon. Who's writing the schedule for these games? Why is this 3:30? Why is this not a night game? I don't understand. For someone who has to work on a Saturday, this kills me. This should be a primetime game on ABC. Number 1 versus number 2 offenses, right? I think when it comes down to it, though, Oregon's defense ranked 6th is going to help them out. I would take money line. You know what? It's plus 2.5 right now for the points. Get that field goal maybe, but I would go Oregon.
All right, I'll be the dissenter here. I think I'm taking Washington. I think I'm riding high. I'm trusting the AP. I think
feeling great.
We're looking at another tight game. It comes down to whoever has the ball last, I think, wins this game. But 569 yards per game for Washington, 557 for Oregon. Who knows? I think it's going to be fantastic. I agree with you, Mike, that the biggest travesty is that it's at 3:30 on a Saturday. It needs to be. That's a primetime game for that. But let's talk NFL. Who are you looking forward to? What are the matchups? Where's the value this weekend? We've got Cowboys-Chargers. Big game coming in this week. Zach, what do you think?
Before this week, I might have gone Cowboys. But after what Dak Prescott showed up with last week, I got to go Chargers. Money line. Ain't risking the points this week. I just can't see Dak Prescott holding on to a game against a decent team anymore. So I gotta go with Chargers.
Shocking, the Giants fan picking against Dallas. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, Chargers coming off a bye. They get Austin Eckler back this week. He hasn't played since week 1. I'm going Chargers.
All right, I'll dissent again. I think Cowboys bounce back. Super Bowl winning coach Mike McCarthy takes on the Chargers. I think Austin Eckler may be a little rusty. Who knows? But I'll dissent. I'll go Cowboys money line there. NFC North showdown. Vikings play the Bears. Mike, who do you got?
Kirk Cousins is good. I'm going to go Vikings. I know they don't have Justin Jefferson, but it's the Bears.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's the Bears, but Justin Fields is just such a wild card. If Justin Jefferson plays this game, I'm going Vikings. With him out and being replaced at the X with KJ Osborne, I don't think he's going to do it. I think Kirk Cousins throws a few touchdown passes, but not enough. I think Justin Fields takes advantage of that Vikings defense, and he has a day, and the Bears win.
All right. Nothing in my heart of hearts will allow me to pick the Bears. I think the Vikings take it. I think Justin Fields gets picked off twice. There you go. Vikings money line. Justin Fields 2 interceptions. -7 rushing yards. Last one, we've got Seattle versus Cincinnati. Unlikely matchup, but I think it'll be a fantastic game. I'm looking forward to it. Zach, who do you like?
I like what I've seen out of Cincinnati last week. Jamar Chase, he recommended they throw him the ball, so they did. So I think that Cincinnati's on the bounce back. Burrow's hamstring is calf is finally starting to heal. I think Cincinnati takes it. I think Seattle looks strong earlier in the season, but they're starting to fade. That Geno Smith magic is starting to fade off. Even though Ken Walker tries to carry them down the field, I think that they still lose to the Bengals.
All right, Mike.
You have to start calling me first because I agree with Zach again. Yeah, I don't like the Bengals. It's no surprise, but at some point they're gonna continue to turn it around. They have talent. They're just going through a funk right now. So I'm going Bengals.
All right, I'll dissent again. I think Seahawks take it. Don't know why. I just think the Bengals are in a slump, and I think they don't fix it this week. And I think maybe next week. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling next week. Any other games you're excited about personally? Any sport, anywhere in the world? Mike, any cricket matches coming up?
Nah. No, I'm really focused on football right now. I think hockey is. You got to wait a couple games to see where the numbers fall. Right. I'm already getting lit up right now. Oilers are down 2-0 to the Canucks. Bruins came out tonight, took care of business on the Blackhawks, but last night the Blackhawks won. So you got to wait a little bit. But for football, I mean, Thursday night football, Broncos at Chiefs. Come on, right? What a way to start your week. So I would hit that up hard. 49ers Brown. The 49ers versus the Browns line opened up at -2. Now the line is moving heavily since Deshaun Watson might not play. So right now you can probably get it at -5.5, which still seems like a steal. So I would get in early on those two. And then Panthers Dolphins. Those are the 3 NFL games. I'm not going to throw the Ravens in. I've learned my lesson. Keep your parlays down to 3. Right, David? What happens when you add that 4th one in?
It will always lose.
Yeah,
every time.
Especially. Yeah, all the time. Looking at football, fantastic Friday night game. It's a little late for me, 10 o'clock, but we got Stanford at Colorado, right? It's always fun to see the Colorado play. So we have Stanford at Colorado. I think they're gonna have an easy win. I'm excited about Arkansas, Bama. I'm taking Bama minus 19 if I can. Then we got Miami at UNC. I'm on the same page with Zach with UNC now. They're looking dominant, so I'm going to go UNC. Probably do a little bit of damage with USC, not UNC, USC over Notre Dame. I wouldn't go too heavy on it because it's going to be a close game. And then NC State Duke. Duke's at home. I was giving them some grief last week. They are a good football team. NC State's a little dangerous at times, especially it's kind of like an in-state rivalry match there, but I just see Duke pulling it out on the money line.
Yeah, 3.5 point spread on that Duke NC State game. I don't have any games I'm excited about this week. It's a bye week for the Packers. Old Dominion doesn't play again until the 21st. And soccer is on an international break, so I have no fear of heartbreak this weekend. The teams that I care about most are not playing, but I am looking forward. I can't wait for college football. That Oregon-Washington game, really looking forward to. Mike and I are gonna be at odds here. I think Arkansas cover 20 against Alabama. I think Bama have been struggling. I know they're making a play and a push to be in the top 10, ranked currently number 11. I think Alabama wins, but I think Arkansas does cover that game.
I'm feeling good.
Yeah. NFL, we kind of already went over it. I like the Vikings over the Bears. I like the Patriots over the Raiders. I think the Patriots come back. That's a little hot take for you. I think the Bucks beat the Lions. These are all money line. The spreads, I think they're too close to call. But yeah, looking forward to not having a team I care about lose this weekend for the first time in forever. All right. Any last thoughts, gentlemen?
Well, I will go for my picks as well.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, NFL. I agree on the 49ers pick. I had the 49ers -6. It looks like since Watson's not playing, it slipped to -7. So I will stick with that. 49ers -6 or 7, whatever you got it at. Unfortunately, I'll probably take the Bills -14
Dangerous.
against the Giants.
Dangerous.
I think that's probably a wise call if you're not a Giants fan and you're willing to bet on that one. The Eagles and the Dolphins, I would both take money line. I'm not too comfortable with those spreads, so I would just go money line on those two. In college football, I would agree with Mike on the Duke pick. I would take Duke -3.5 in that game. They've been a fairly strong team this year. I'm glad he's picked up on UNC now. I would just take the money line on this game, though. So I'd stick with UNC money line. Not a big fan of the spread in that one against Miami. Since Mike picked up on UNC, I will pick up on Mike's Louisville and take Louisville -7.5. So those are my 3 NCAA football picks.
There you have it. A lot of great games coming up this week. Postseason baseball, NHL is starting. NBA preseason is starting strong as well. Much more to come. Gentlemen, any last words?
Yeah, I got a hot take. I want to share just because CJ Stroud this week, he's having a phenomenal year, right? He's rookie of the year front runner. Current stat line for him: 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I think this week against the Saints, he throws his first interception. Saints have 7 interceptions on the season. That's my hot take.
All right. Zach, hot takes?
I think my hottest take that I already shared would be Man City is not going to win the Premier League this year. So
All right.
chalk that one up. We'll see how that goes. We'll see.
Hot take. My hot take, Lamar Jackson doesn't throw an interception this weekend. Congratulations, Mike.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen. We'll see you all next week. Have a good time.